President Tinubu arrives New York for 78th UN General Assembly. Oil inches higher on supply concerns, China demand recovery. Asia market fall ahead of closely watched central bank decisions this week. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Musa Abubakar, your guide. Well, let's begin by telling you that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has arrived in New York, United States of America for the 78th United Nations General Assembly UNGA. President Tinubu, who landed at the John F. Kennedy Airport on Monday, was received by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tugar, the permanent representative of Nigeria to the United Nations, Professor Tijani Muhammad Bande, and other government officials. The theme of this year's UNGA is Rebuilding Trust and Reigniting Global Solidarity, accelerating action on the 2030 Agenda and its sustainable development goals towards peace, prosperity, progress, and sustainability for all. Meanwhile, the President will deliver his inaugural national statement on September 19th, which is the first day of the high-level general debate of the Assembly. Now, President Tinubu is expected to join other African leaders at the Powerful African Conference as part of sidelights of the General Summit. Joining us virtually in Abuja is the Public Affairs Analyst Jide Ojo. Welcome to Business Express.
It's a pleasure. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Well, it is a common for heads of states to engage in international travels, meet with other world leaders to drive economic issues. How can President Tinubu's international travel contribute to economic growth as he is participating at the 78th United Nations General Assembly?
Thank you very much for the opportunity to be on this this program. It's very clear from the agenda of Mr. President that he has his work cut out for him. The country is bleeding. The country is economy is comatose. So he needs to reach out to global leaders and business investors to come and do business with us, because we need to revive our economy. He just came back from G20 summit in India last week. It's their first UN General Assembly that he will be attending, and quite a number of high-powered meetings already scheduled for him with different country leaders like the President of South Africa, the President of Brazil, the Chairman of European Union Commission. Is also going to be meeting with Meta Technologies, ExxonMobil, Microsoft, as well as even ExxonMobil, Microsoft, and other industrial technological giants. And this is the way to go. This year's UNGA, as been mentioned by you, is about solidarity and achieving the SDGs, SDG 17 of them, and we are already more than 2/3 of the way, because this thing is supposed to end by 2030. So where is Nigeria on the radar for achieving SDG, Sustainable Development Program? Where is Nigeria on the radar in terms of even meeting our aspiration of, our aspiration to be one of the 20 developing economy by 2020? We have missed those opportunities. But this is a new sheriff in town who is trying to right the wrongs of the past, to meet with world leaders, to meet with industrial giants, business octopus, to come and do business with us. Just last week, he got an investment promise of over $10 billion. And we hope this time around, by the time we'll be leaving the UN General Assembly, perhaps by weekend, he will have been able to attract better or investment opportunities to Nigeria. And he has also gone to this summit with clear-cut idea. You will recall that he reduced the number of delegates, and he has now gone with 6 governors and 7 ministers, as well as 8 that really have something to do at the summit. This shows that it's not business as usual. But on the whole, we just look forward to the investment opportunities that the president will be able to attract at the end of his bilateral meetings and multilateral meetings. He's scheduled to talk for 15 minutes tomorrow, September 19th. And we hope that his speech will inspire confidence in global world leaders to come do business with Nigeria. It's about business and foreign direct investment, and it's meeting with the right people.
Okay, well, I understand that this year's theme is on rebuilding trust and reigniting global solidarity, accelerating action on the 2030 agenda and a sustainable development. Where are we on that? How would you assess our progress when it comes to the issue of sustainable development goals? You know, the agenda is for the targeted time frame is 2030. How would you assess our progress on that?
I didn't even see this question coming, but you will hear that in my earlier submission, we are not anywhere close to achieving any of the 17 sustainable development goals that the global leaders set for themselves in 2015. And here we are, barely 7 years to the set date for attainment of the SDG. Nigeria is, whether you are talking of health, whether you are talking of zero hunger, you are talking of gender equality, or you are even talking of, development generally, the indicators and indices is pointing southwards for Nigeria. And that's why we need leaders who can inspire, who can get things. 7 years is still a long time to come. We can still do a lot to improve our rating and standing on the global radar in terms of attainment of sustainable development programs. But we need to fix the economy primarily, because whether you are talking of zero hunger, you are talking of climate change, investment in climate change to improve things around that, water and all of that. There is a need for a lot of funding. And the good thing is that Nigeria has the market, the biggest market in Africa, 200 million plus population. And if we get our policies right, I'm sure that quite enough invest in this country, and through that we'll be able to improve our standing on the sustainable development goal agenda. Because right now, truth be told, look at the out of school children we see, at the humanitarian crisis we see, the number of IDPs and refugees that Nigeria still has is very alarming, and the issue of banditry and insecurity. So all the people who have gone there, it is so that it will not be a jamboree, that they are going there, they will come back with clear-cut ideas on how to tackle those challenges that has militated against our attainment of the 17 sustainable development goals. But I wish the president the best of luck in his assignment. It's a very Herculean task, but it is doable. It is not on that. I mean, it's not something that cannot be attained. It's not a rocket science. We can do it with the can-do spirit of Nigeria, with the that we can still significantly improve on the SDG.
Okay, you talk about it's doable. Which areas do you think we should focus on, since we have like probably more than 7 years to the set target? Which areas do you think President Tinubu should take advantage and focus on to see how he could actually work on and to achieve, particularly for the development of Nigerians?
So the first priority area will be for me security. Security impacts on humanitarian agenda. Security impacts on even the issue of climate change. Security impacts on food security, as well as even the issue of zero hunger. And so we need to fix that because every day you read in the papers issues around kidnapping, issues around bandit attack, issues around elders farmers clashes. Yes, since he came to power, he has initiated a number of goals. Just last week, he accepted the report of former governor of Kano State, Ganduje, on the issue of how to tackle farmer elders clashes. That's part of the solution to this issue of banditry and elders farmers clashes. So the National Security Advisor is there in the UN General Assembly. The Minister of Defense, Badaru, is there. And it is important that they seek global support to fighting insecurity and terrorism in Nigeria. Because many other things depends on the availability of a very good investment climate. You cannot expect what companies, tech giants, to come and invest in a country that is plagued by insecurity and terrorism. So we need to fix the issue of security primarily, pivotally, and after that, we need to put in place policies and programs that will encourage investors business in Nigeria. The ease of doing business is something that needs to be overhauled, because when you have ease of doing business, like the issue of visa on arrival, the issue of access to credit, the issue of access to land, the issue around clearing goods at the port, this ease of doing business will encourage foreign direct investors to come and do business with us, and it's going to show up our foreign exchange earnings. So security, ease of doing business, as well as issues around dispute resolution. Our industrial court must give world-class judgment, because when there is trade dispute, investors want to see how your court will rule. In the earlier reports, you had the Minister of Work saying that he's going to terminate some road contracts and all of that. There could be cost implication. If the government is terminating, are we ready to pay the fines that will be associated with illegal termination of contracts? More so, if the fault is not that of the contractor, because like you rightly said, imagine a 10 billion naira worth of road contracts, you gave the contractor 150 million. It's government that is at fault. So when you terminate contracts like this, there could be penalty, cost implication, and that's where the National Industrial Court will be called upon to adjudicate. And that's why issues around our rule of law is also very important. Just like I've mentioned, the ease of doing business and issue of tackling security and terrorism. These, for me, are the priority areas. Of course, we can talk about education, health. We can talk about resolving food security and all of that, improving agricultural practice and all of that. But pivotally, we need to resolve the issue of terrorism and insecurity before that fall in place.
Okay, thank you very much, Jide Ojo, public affairs analyst. Thank you for sharing your thought with us.
It's a pleasure. Do have a great week.
You
Stay
too.
safe and stay blessed.
Yeah. Now, Minister of Works Dave Umahi says the Tinubu administration inherited 2,604 road projects covering 18,000 kilometers and will cost 14 trillion naira. The minister stated this while briefing State House correspondents, saying the Tinubu administration had so far paid 4 trillion naira out of the 14 trillion naira owed to contractors, with 6 trillion naira funding gap across the country.
We have a number of programs for our road development under the previous administration, and of course we inherited all the projects. We've not dropped any of the projects, but curious to know that some of these projects have lasted for 20 years, some 10 years. In fact, in most cases they are never appropriated throughout every tenure. And so I went to seek Mr. President's nod so that I will be able to terminate some of the projects that have stayed up to 10 years without any defined source of funding. I discussed that with Mr. President, and I also noted, and I shared it with Mr. President, the way appropriation is being done is not healthy to develop our road infrastructure. For example, for a road that may cost 10 billion, an appropriation of 150 million is made. It is just for the contractor to take and put in his pocket, because where an average cost of project that we inherited is about 700 million per kilometer, and you are giving out 150 million for the whole year, then you are just enhancing the pocket of the contractor.
Now, moving on, a report by the United Nations World Tourism Organization has projected consumer spending on tourism, hospitality, and recreation will reach about $261.7 billion by 2025. The report revealed that tourism generated $11.7 billion and created 9.1 million direct jobs within the sector in 2022. Also, the 2023 Hotel and Hospitality Industry Confidence Index indicated expanding number of hotels across Africa. In the same vein, Statista has forecasted an average annual growth rate of 8.68% over the next 5 years and hotel market revenue of $13.80 billion by 2027. Now, Japan's yen in spotlight ahead of live BOJ meeting. How much is the naira exchanging for other currencies? Let's find out. Now, gold prices edge up ahead of likely Federal Reserve rate pause. Let's now take a trip to the commodities market. Now let's see how stocks in Nigeria fared last week, as put together by Olayinka Ojo.
The all-share index and market capitalization depreciated by 1.10% to close the week at 67,395.74 basis points and 36.886 trillion naira. A total turnover of 2.933 billion shares worth 47.449 billion naira in 44,654 deals were traded last week by investors on the floor of the exchange. On sectoral performance, the financial services industry led the activity chart with 1.955 billion shares valued at 26.384 billion naira traded in 21,707 deals, contributing 66.67% and 55.61% to the total equity turnover in volume and value. The oil and gas industry followed with 281.356 million shares worth 5.307 billion naira in 4,423 deals. The third place was the conglomerates industry with a turnover of 280.586 million shares worth 1.763 billion naira in 3,079 deals. In the bonds market, a total of 94,257 units valued at 103.270 million naira were traded last week in 33 deals. In this segment of the market, a total of 16,562 units valued at 2.658 million naira were traded last week in 73 deals. Trading in the top three equities, namely United Bank for Africa PLC, Transnational Corporation PLC, and Access Holding PLC, accounted for 1.026 billion shares worth 13.649 billion naira in 9,733 deals. On price change, 32 equities appreciated in price during the week, 53 equities depreciated, while 70 equities remained unchanged. Olayinka Ojo for Business Express.
And our Asian markets fall ahead of closely watched central bank decisions this week. Neka Oko is standing by for updated. Neka, tell us about the market.
Hello and welcome to the global market segment. Global stocks wavered this Monday as growth concerns tested investor strength ahead of a week brimming with central bank meetings. In Asia, markets finished mixed. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index led 1.39%. The Shanghai Composite gained 0.26%, while markets in Japan were closed for a public holiday. European markets had a negative open to start this week as following trading in Asia Pacific. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index declined 0.58%. UK FTSE also lost 0.33%, while the French CAC declined 1%. On the flip side, stock futures in the US inched up in early trading as investors look forward to the Federal Reserve's next policy decision. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added 31 points. The S&P 500 gained 0.1%, while the Nasdaq Composite is up 0.11%. It was mixed trading for African markets on Monday. The JSE Africa Top 40 dipped in early trade, same as Tunisia's Tun Index, while Namibia's overall index and the GSE Composite in Ghana were marginally positive. And that's Global Market Review. It's back to you, Musa.
And that's it. Business Express returns tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Enjoy the rest of your day.